Yo, what up everybody, it's me, Fitness65. Now I'm redoing this video because I went over some of the matches and I didn't get enough time to explain the other matches, but I just thought I'd make a video since the Money in the Bank is this Sunday. I know I don't do predictions videos, but the Money in the Bank is sort of a special pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view looks pretty good, solid from top to bottom. You don't have one bad matchup on this pay-per-view, maybe except the two Divas matches, but other than that, everything looks either good to great to okay, and I expect this pay-per-view to do really good. This pay-per-view has potential to be really good, but then again, WWE had like two pay-per-views that had a good card, but the pay-per-view just didn't deliver at all. But can they do it this Sunday? We'll have to wait and see. But let's get started with this predictions video. Like I said, this pay-per-view has the potential to be really good because there's a lot of good matches on here and there's only two bad matches on here. So let's get started with the card. The first matchup is probably going to be the SmackDown Money in the Bank matchup, and somehow they're going to balance these two, the gimmick matches in this pay-per-view, because there's a steel cage matchup, there's two Money in the Bank matchups, and they're going to have to balance this out and have one match in the beginning, and they're going to have two matches, the other match in the middle, and the other match somewhere during the main event. So they're gonna balance it out that way since it's a gimmick pay-per-view. But let's get started with this. The first matchup, I'm assuming, is gonna be a SmackDown Money in the Bank matchup. It's between, let me look at the WWE.com to see. Oh yeah, it's between the Big Show, Matt Hardy, Christian, Kofi Kingston, Cody Rhodes, Kane, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler. Now this matchup, this matchup has the potential to be really good if it's given enough time. You know, all these guys like to put their body on the line when it comes to matches like these. And then you have the Big Show, who you really won't see the Big Show do much in this matchup. Maybe a choke slam off the ladder, or he might be involved in maybe one or two other spots, but other than that, I don't really see Big Show being involved that much in this matchup. I really see Matt Hardy, Christian, and Kofi Kingston and all the other guys putting on some good spots. Even Drew McIntyre might do some spots of his own in this matchup, because he was in the Money in the Bank from this year, and he was involved in I think at least 3 or 4 spots in that matchup. So I see him getting involved more in the spots in the Money in the Bank matchup. But if there's a person I gotta go with in this matchup, I gotta go with at least 3 guys in this Money in the Bank matchup. It's either gonna be Christian, Kofi Kingston, or Kane. It's rumored to be Kane. There's rumors going around that Kane is supposed to be winning the world title and taking on the Undertaker, or being the one that attacked Undertaker, setting up a matchup at SummerSlam. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but then again, it probably could. But let's hope it doesn't. But yeah, those are 3 guys I'm assuming are gonna win. Well, 2 are my personal picks to win: Christian or Kofi Kingston, because Kofi Kingston's been having a lot of momentum since winning the Intercontinental title, and I think it would be good if he won the Money in the Bank and then got a world title shot, but who knows. And then Christian, in my personal opinion, the guy deserves to get a world title shot. He's been putting on good matches and he's just been busting his ass, and it's a shame that they haven't given him a world title shot or given him a world title since he's came back to the WWE. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I gotta go with those 3 guys. But out of those 3, I gotta go with Christian. Again, the man has been busting his ass. He's been putting on good matches, and the man's long overdue for a world title shot and a world title at best. But knowing the WWE, they're probably not going to give it to him. But I'm just going to go with my prediction for Christian to win the SmackDown Money in the Bank matchup. And hopefully this match is given enough time, because with the participants in this matchup just has the potential to steal the show on the card. Then we got the next matchup, which is probably going to be for the Divas title between Alicia Fox and Eve. I don't expect much from this matchup because Eve is not really that good of a worker. Alicia Fox is okay at best, although there's some people that like her. I kind of do like her, but to me she just seems kind of like a safety hazard in the ring. From if you saw her matchup on Raw and with that scissor kick, it just looked pretty brutal. But I expect this matchup to be okay, not good or great, just an okay Divas title matchup between Eve Torres and Alicia Fox. If I gotta go with a prediction as this matchup, I gotta go with Alicia Fox to retain. She just won the title, and I don't see the WWE putting the belt back on Eve Torres. But knowing the WWE, they might end up putting it back on Eve Torres. Let's hope they don't, because Alicia Fox needs to develop as champion, and they need to get that belt somewhat prestigious on Raw. But even though there's not really that many good Divas workers on Raw, with the exception of maybe 3 Divas workers on Raw, there's not really anybody else on there that's good. But yeah, she needs to retain, and I gotta go with Alicia Fox to retain her title. We then go to the next matchup on here, which is probably going to be for the Unified Tag Team titles, the Hart Dynasty against Jimmy and Jey Uso. Now, I've been digging this build with the Usos attacking the Hart Dynasty and wanting a match with the Hart Dynasty, and the two teams just brawling with each other. That sort of set up this matchup for the tag team titles. I expect this match to be really good if it's given enough time. But knowing the WWE, they probably won't give this enough time because they don't really care about their tag team division, which is a damn shame, because their tag team division has somewhat potential. There's like 2 teams on SmackDown that are sort of developing and coming into their own, and then of course you got 2 teams on Raw. Well, I think you got 3 teams on SmackDown, and then I think 2 teams on Raw. And if they put some more effort into their tag teams, then their division can get right back up. But the WWE doesn't really care about their tag team division. But like I said, hopefully this matchup gets enough time, because these 2 teams, they put on some okay tag team matches. But if they give this enough time on the pay-per-view, this could be a really good matchup. But like I said, knowing the WWE, they won't give it enough time, and they'll probably just have it a 10-minute matchup or something like that. But this matchup, I just want this match to get enough time. But like I said, knowing the WWE, it won't. If I gotta go with a prediction, I gotta go with the Hart Dynasty. Even though the Usos need a win, I gotta go with the Hart Dynasty, because the Usos got the victory on Raw in that 6-man tag team matchup, and you know how WWE is with that whole, the heels win before the pay-per-view and then the faces win at the pay-per-view. They just like to do that trend, so I see that trend continuing into the pay-per-view. We then go to the next matchup, which is probably going to be for the World Heavyweight title which is probably going to be for the World Heavyweight title between Rey Mysterio and Jack Swagger. Now, these two guys had a good matchup on SmackDown like a couple weeks ago, and I don't expect less between these two, because it's Rey Mysterio, and Jack Swagger's sort of been coming onto his own, even though his world title reign was sort of a failure. That's mainly because of the booking team, but I expect these two to put on a damn good matchup against each other. Hopefully this matchup is given enough time, because we all know with the WWE, when it comes to the world title matches, they don't put enough time into their matches, and you end up getting short matches and bullshit endings. So let's hope we don't get that with this matchup, because it's Rey Mysterio and Jack Swagger, and these two deserve more time than what the WWE is probably going to give them. If I gotta go with the prediction for this matchup, I gotta go with Rey Mysterio to retain, because there's rumors that Rey Mysterio is going to be heading into SummerSlam to take on CM Punk, which I don't mind, because I've been digging that feud, and now it's going to make the feud more interesting with the world title. So yeah, I gotta go with Rey Mysterio to retain his World Heavyweight title. We then go to the WWE Women's Championship matchup between Layla and Kelly Kelly. Don't really care for this matchup, although Kelly Kelly is not that bad of a worker. Layla just doesn't do it for me in the ring, but this matchup has potential to be good, but I don't expect much from it. Prediction, I gotta go with Layla to retain. We then go to one of the 2 main events. I'm assuming it's going to be the Raw ladder match. That's going to be the first main event. The Raw ladder match, the Raw Money in the Bank matchup, which is going to be one of the 2 main events. This matchup has potential to be good, but I don't expect much, because Mark Henry's going to sort of drag it out. It's Randy Orton, John Morrison, Mark Henry, Evan Bourne, Ted DiBiase Jr., Chris Jericho, Edge, and The Miz. I expect this matchup to be okay at best. You really won't see as many spots from any of these guys, so I just expect the average matchup. I gotta go for prediction. I gotta go with The Miz, and then John Cena and Sheamus steel cage matchup. I gotta go with Sheamus to retain his title.